guys, it's SparkleGirl00, and yes, as you can tell by the title of this video, I might have got another hamster. I don't really know how to start this video off, to be honest, because there's a lot that I need to talk about and his whole story and everything. But I guess I will just start off with introducing him. He's actually up right now, so I'll go ahead and get him out for you. Alright, here he is. I would like you all to meet Boo Bear. He actually has quite a few nicknames. Like, every family member in my household kind of calls him a different thing, but my mom gave the vet, which I will talk about later, the name Boo Bear for his medications. So Boo Bear just really fits him. He looks like a little black bear, and he's just really tiny and really cute. Like I said, he has a very long story. So I guess I will start talking. And yeah, here he is. I'll give you guys a close up. This little Boo Bear. Also, before I get onto his story, I know I haven't made a video in like forever, and this is one of the reasons. I have been so busy with so many things, and once you hear the story, you'll kind of understand why. So I apologize I haven't had a video up, but yeah. So if you remember my last vlog video, it's been forever since I've made a video. My last video, I said that I started volunteering at my Humane Society, and I am a photographer there. I just take pictures of the animals for them to help them get adopted faster, and it's been a really great experience. So I went to my orientation, and literally my first day volunteering there, the lady at the front desk was asking me, you know, what I was here for, and as soon as I walked in, my head was distracted by this bright critter trail sitting there, and I just knew what it was, and I couldn't even answer her question. I was so distracted by the critter trail cage. I was like, no way, because I've always wanted, you know, if I ever did get another hamster, to adopt from a shelter. So really quick, I interrupted myself. I'm gonna move over here so you guys can actually see Boo Bear, something interesting to look at while you listen to his story. You can see him right here. But yeah, anyways, where was I? But yeah, anyways, so yeah, I was very distracted by the critter trail cage. So I went over to the cage once I signed in, and I looked in there, and the name tag said Timmy. He was a black Syrian male hamster, and he was 1.5 years old. And I looked in there, and up in the petting zone, he was just this little ball of black fur, and he just was so cute. I was like, oh my goodness. But yeah, I really wanted him, but I knew I couldn't have him. For one, I told myself I was only going to have one hamster at a time. After Zuzu passed, I was like, I'm just going to have one hamster from now on, because we do travel, and it's just a lot more stressful, I think, for us and the hamsters to have 2 hamsters, because we travel with like our full cages, because I don't like to travel with like them in the smaller cage because it stresses them out. And as much as we travel, I keep them in their big cages, actually in a bin cage, not this tank, because I can't take this. But yeah, so having 2 big bin cages just isn't practical. But I fell in love with this little guy. But the other reason is, not only did I make that decision because of the traveling issue, my parents, I cannot talk. And the other reason was, because of that reason, my parents also didn't, pretty much said I couldn't have another hamster. But my mom went to look at him, and she was like, oh, he is so cute, poor little guy. And lucky for me, my mom and dad are both animal lovers. So basically his family was actually moving to Germany, and they could not take him with them, but they said that he was actually sick at the time that they surrendered him to the Humane Society. You know, they gave him to them sick, basically. and he was on Pine when they got him, and at least the Humane Society switched him over to Aspen, which I'm very thankful that they were knowledgeable enough to do that for him. But he had been sick a whole week before I'd even gotten there, so he was at the Humane Society for a week before I came. He was on an antibiotic, and so we, you know, talked it over, and I wasn't really sure, you know, like, I didn't want to make a decision that I wasn't really ready and prepared for, to take on a sick hamster, you know, just like with school and everything else. And so my mom was actually kind of open to it. She's like, well, you know, I don't know, you know. So I decided to go back and pray about it, and if he was still there when we went back, I was going to get him. And we only go to town once a week because we do live really far from town. So we called a few days later, and he actually was not doing very good at all. They said that he was not eating. They said his teeth were actually too long, and that, you know, he wasn't even going up into his petting zone anymore. He was staying on the ground, and that was not good news at all. But he actually made it through the night, and we decided to go into town early to get him because, I mean, the poor thing wasn't eating. He was still alive, and he wasn't even eating or drinking. We had to do something for him. So we went back in, and we got him, and I was just like, so like nervous. I don't know why, I just was. I was so excited when I got him. The poor thing was just like so sick. He was like skin and bones. I have never seen a hamster so skinny in my whole life, and he was so tiny. And just, he was laying there, barely moving. He was breathing really heavy, and he was making clicking noises, so I was pretty sure he had a respiratory infection. And actually, before we came in to pick him up, we knew that we would probably be taking him to the vet, so we had scheduled a vet appointment for that day. So when we picked him up, we were actually late for our vet appointment, so the Humane Society is like, oh, just fill the papers in when you come back. So we took him straight to the vet, and he indeed had a respiratory infection. He was very, very dehydrated. Just a poor little guy. I'm trying to think, is there anything else that she said? But yeah, it was basically a respiratory infection, and she said he quite possibly had pneumonia too. So she gave us an antibiotic to put him on for 3 days, and actually, the day we got him, I went to PetSmart and put his little critter trail. I filled it with some Clean and Cozy to get him off the shavings. That's the last thing he needed on a respiratory infection. I got him some thyme at the store to do thyme treatments with him. And he ate some fresh veggies and started drinking, so I was so thrilled that he was finally eating on just the first day we got him. He was still quite sick though. We got him to the house and set up his cage, and he was very, very wobbly. He could barely move. Like, I had to put all his stuff all close together because he just was really, really sick. He didn't really get better though. He improved enough to even run on his wheel, but his respiratory infection was not gone. So about 2 weeks later, after having him, I'm cutting out a lot of details too because this video is getting really long. So yeah, basically we took him 2 weeks later, and the vet said his respiratory infection was not gone. So she put him on a antibiotic that he's supposed to breathe. At first she was going to do nose drops, but then she said, you know what might be easier than forcing him to take nose drops is placing a like humidifier or diffuser and then putting the antibiotic in the diffuser, which was a really interesting experience. I've never heard of anything like it before. It was pretty interesting. He didn't like sitting in there at all, but yeah, I basically put the diffuser in a container and put him in like a smaller box, and then the steam went into the box and gave him the antibiotic. I'm getting out of breath. And then after that, she wanted to see him in 2 weeks. And he actually just finished his treatment of the air antibiotics. He still is clicking, unfortunately. So that means he could still have his respiratory infection probably. His eyes are still quite crusty. The good thing is he's been eating a lot. He loves pellets. He's a very picky eater, but he happens to love pellets. But he's drinking. When we took him back in after the 2 weeks, he was still dehydrated, and she thought that the humidifier would help his dehydration too. So unfortunately, he is not completely well. But instead of taking him back, if you've been with my channel for a while, you will know that we do travel quite a bit, and we're actually going to be leaving quite soon. That's why I have to do this video now. And we're going to a very big city, and there is an exotic specialist there that I think I'm going to take him to, because we do live like kind of far out, and my vet that's working with him does specialize in small animals, but it's not a exotics vet. So I'm going to take him there, and I hope that this vet will be able to fix him, or at least find out for sure what's wrong, because my vet did say there's a possibility it could be a kidney infection, because he has been drinking quite a bit, not too much, but she thinks it could be a kidney infection, or it could be an infected tooth that he has. By the way, his teeth were not too long. That's what the Humane Society thought, but they were not too long. He was just sick from his infection. That's why he was not eating. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Welcome, Boo Bear. The reason I didn't announce this for a while, actually, I adopted him on September 14th, so it's been quite a while. But he was sick, and I didn't know if he was going to make it at first, so I didn't want to announce him. And I am announcing it now, but just to let you guys know, he is still sick. And if he does have an infected tooth, the vet said I'll probably have to put him under anesthesia to fix it. So I don't know how things are going to turn out yet, but I'm really praying for him and hoping that he makes it, because he is such a sweet little guy. And as you can see, here is his cage. I haven't even told you guys his name yet, have I? But yes, I did. I did tell you. Have I? So here is his little cage. His name is Boo Bear, so I had to do like a Boo theme for him. Just like a little thing. And his cage has to stay very simple, because he is having a little bit of difficulty. Not a lot, but I just want to leave things simple for him while he's recovering. I have Boo gel clings over there, this cute little purple squishy monster, and this pretty tree. This is just kind of a quick cage tour. He has his little acorn dish over here. And then he has some tubes, his wheel, and a little hidey over there. He actually does not like to sleep in hideys, which is quite interesting. One thing I would like to say, I'm sure you guys understand, but because he is still recovering, he's still ill at the moment, and he is quite old. He is at the very least 1.5 years, because that's how long the people had him. So he is quite old. So I can't promise that there will be a lot, if any, pictures and videos. I have gotten a few pictures and a little bit of cute clips of him, but he is still recovering, so maybe there will be more when he's better. So yeah, sorry about that, but of course his health and well-being comes first, and I don't want to put a bunch of bright lights in his face and everything. So I guess I will share with you guys some facts about Boo Bear so you can get to know him a little bit better. He loves his pellets, I think I already mentioned that, but he is one in there. But yeah, he's a very picky eater. He doesn't like a lot of stuff, but he happens to love pellets, which is great because they happen to have all the nutritional values that he needs, at least the ones I use. He still does like seeds, so I still give him some. He likes baby treats. He likes the little yogurt melts. I think I have them right here, the Gerber yogurt melts. He loves to chew. Well, the whole time he's been sick. Look at that. Look at that. He's almost gotten to the ball. He loves to chew. So I've kind of gone to the store and got him a bunch of his own chews. What else about him? He doesn't like to sleep in houses. He loves to sleep out in the open. He never really ever sleeps in his hidey houses. And the last thing I could say is I have kept him in a whole different room, kept all his cleaning supplies, everything separate from Bibbles because I do not want the slightest chance of Bibbles picking up a respiratory infection, especially at his old age of 2.5 years old. So yeah, I have been very, very careful to make sure that I've been very sanitary. Like these treats are his. I have reached in the bag with Boo Bear, so I do not use these with Bibbles. You just have to be really careful because respiratory infections can be very contagious. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I finally announced this video. I have it off my shoulders. Welcome Boo Bear. Thank you guys for the support. Please keep him in your prayers that he successfully recovers 100%. And I guess that's pretty much all I have to say about him. Thanks for watching. Bye.